for your motivation and the willpower and the drive that you have, it's normal for these to look like this. You're never going to expect over an entire week or month or 3 months that your drive and motivation and all these things, these emotions, these feelings are just going to be completely consistent. Yep, I've got an 8 out of 10 motivation every single day. It's more like your month is averaging out at 6.5 or 7, which is probably a lot higher than it used to be like a year ago. But of course, for it to average out at the 6.5, there's got to be some days which are still at 4 out of 10. And then you can tell me if this is the truth. There's probably some days which feels like, oh, damn it, this is a 9 out of 10. You've had some really good days over the last month where you were super, super motivated. This is literally just the ebbs and flows of life. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah! Exactly that, bro. You know what you have to do? This is why I like to use strategies like habit trackers and, like pieces of paper around my wall which remind me of my goals. Because there's probably 5 things that if you did in your day, that day would be a success. Maybe it's the morning routine, meditation, gratitude journaling, maybe it's exercise, deep work, and reading. If you did a couple of things, you'd probably have an awesome day that you'd be thinking, yeah, that's a super successful day. I read 10 pages, 20 pages, 30 pages. I worked on my business or the YouTube channel or anything. So what I would say is on these days when you're not very motivated, just do those things anyway. Go to the gym or go and exercise, even especially when you don't feel like it, because you're just bulletproofing yourself against these days when you lack motivation. So I'm not saying that you have to go and do the exact same day or you have to hit a PR, but on these days, if you just show up, you're still going to be making more progress than you naturally would have if you just kind of thought, oh man, I don't feel so motivated, so I'll just take like an easy day. I won't go to the gym today because there's no point or anything. But if you go to the gym today and if you do one set for your chest, that's literally just pure profit if you weren't gonna go, isn't it? So it's like on these days, I would be glad because the bar for you to become successful is super fucking low. It's like if you do one push up today compared to the day where you weren't gonna do any, like you've still just pure, that's net profit of one push up. So how about now you do 10 minutes of reading, you do 20 minutes of the deep work for your business. How does that sound? Yeah, good question. So there's a girl who seems really driven in like masculine things like work and goals and everything. Does this mean that she is like a masculine woman? In some ways. I wouldn't call someone masculine or feminine. I would say it's just what energy is like currently dominating inside of them. What I have seen is women especially have to adopt a lot of masculine energy these days. That same woman 200 years ago wouldn't have need to have that masculine energy because it was assumed that she'd marry an 18-year-old man who had it himself, right? Nowadays that's not going to happen because there's not many 18-year-old guys who can afford for themselves, never mind also for the woman and for the children and everything. So women have to take on their own masculine energy. So let me tell you, okay, this is the way it worked for me, for example. My girl worked in some like shipping company call center before like I met her, right? And she hated her life and everything. She has to wake up at 6:30 a.m., get ready, put on like professional clothes, go drive 45 minutes in the rain next to all the other people who are commuting, get in and pretend to like, be civilized and, sat at a desk and taking calls and stuff. And so if I looked at her, I would have considered, okay, masculine. But that's only because she needed to. Now, the moment that I'm entered into her life and she doesn't need to be masculine because she doesn't need to work anymore, she's a very, very feminine girl. So if you just kind of bring that into mind, it's kind of like it's fluid depending on what she needs. Now, if we split up and she wasn't able to like find another guy like me who was quite successful and could like pay for her life as well, then she would probably need to go back to work and suddenly that masculine energy would come back. So at least on this case, it's as simple as like a woman will be masculine to the level that she needs to go and work in like somewhat of a masculine career with goals, with, like trying to get promotions per year and hitting deadlines and KPIs. If you can be the guy who can stop her need for that, then you will naturally see her become a lot more feminine because she's not developing that masculine side. Doesn't mean that that's the right thing because for some women, like they actually really do like the work that they do. So I think it's more about finding out like, is she happy? Does she like the work and the studies?